Hey guys, it's Julian, and today I have a little bit of a different video that I'm very excited to talk to you about. Today, we are going to be breaking down techno on 10 different levels of complexity. I recently watched this video where this woman broke down musical composition, like with a piano, writing out notes, all that kind of stuff, on 16 different levels of complexity, and basically she just broke it down from like the most basic version of a melody to like the most complex version that she could think of, to combine all these different musical techniques to create something very, very different. So we're going to be doing that with techno today, and what I think is going to be interesting here is this is going to give you like a really, really detailed breakdown of not just how to put together a track, but kind of how it's all working so you can understand for yourself. I get a lot of questions about that, to make videos like about how it all works and all that kind of stuff, so hopefully this video can help you out. And the project file I'm about to create is going to be available for all patrons on my Patreon, so if you aren't already, go check that out in the description. But yeah, so we have right here the first level of complexity, which is just a kick. The kick is arguably the most important thing in techno. Here's the one I have right here. I'll show you. It's just we got this sample going through a bit of saturation. We got some rumble, delay, going into a distortion, into a low pass filter. Then we got some stuff to kind of clean it up a little, make it a bit fatter. And that's it. So like I said, this is probably the most basic level of techno. This is, like I said, arguably the most important thing. Maybe not the most important thing. I'd say this is pretty equal with like having an interesting theme to your track and like kind of something people can latch onto that's catchy. But definitely the kick is very important. It's the most like foundational element of techno in terms of sonics. The second level of complexity here would be adding in some extra rhythmic elements. I think techno is very much about rhythm. Let's make 3 tracks here, and I think it's all about, you know, how things groove together and kind of like having that driving rhythm to it. So we're gonna add some percussions here. I'm gonna start with a little hi-hat. I'm gonna just synthesize these to make it easy, but we can get some white noise. Put it through a bandpass. Let's put that on the 12. There we go. And I'm going to do this kind of like from the ground up too. Like, this is probably the most simple thing. Just a little hi-hat that's just playing on the upbeats. You can already hear, like, it adds something extra to the groove. It makes it feel like you have this driving kick, but then you have this equally as powerful hi-hat in its own, you know, in its own frequency range. Kind of like on top of that, and already you can hear what that adds. The next thing would be maybe to add like some sort of a shaker or something like that. So let's actually make a little pattern here. So this will be like another kind of like hi-hat style element. We're gonna do it very similar, in a very similar way, using operator here. You can hear what this is adding to the groove, you know, it's just kind of, again, building up that driving feeling. There we go, we'll give that a bit of drum bus to make it more of like a, there we go. Cool, so then from there we can just make like a little, maybe just a short percussion, like we could just take, again, some white noise. Put that through a bandpass again. White noise through a bandpass filter. Great way to make percussion. And this will just be like maybe another extra little percussive thing in there. There we go. So we have like a little, you can hear now, like these are just adding to what we already built in the foundation with that kick, right? Just driving the rhythm for it. Maybe we'll tweak this a little bit. But yeah, there we go. So then the next level of complexity, level 3, would be to add some sort of synths. Like, we'll just make a simple little melody here. And these are going to give what I was saying was probably the next most important thing after the cake, or equally important with the cake, some would say, is like a theme, you know? Not even just like a theme in terms of like basing it on a particular concept, but a theme in terms of like a musical theme. Like it's going to add some sort of musical thing that you can actually hear, and it's not just a rhythm, but it feels more like actual music, so to speak. So we'll give this just like a simple melody, just something in F minor. Alright, there we go, just something quick. So yeah, again, you can hear it now. Feels like a song. It's got something that you can kind of latch onto. We give this a little bit of processing as well. There we go, and then maybe, you know, it doesn't always have to be super melodic like that as well. Like, maybe we can make something with operator, which will be more of like a digital, just kind of like FM sound. These kind of sounds are obviously very popular. And that can just kind of be playing. Yeah, so these give it some feel. You know, now you have like this melody, which you can really latch onto. You can really remember that. And then there's also this thing, which is pretty memorable and gives it just kind of like something that bridges the gap between, say, something melodic and something more rhythmic like the drums. Give this one a bit of delay as well. So now it's starting to really come together. We can really feel like a song here, and we can really feel like a track. It has something, it has the foundation. So from here, the next step, level 4, would be to add some kind of like effects and background elements and just stuff to kind of fill it out a bit more. So what I mean by this would be maybe we can make a little pad like with analog. I'll just pull up like something simple, detune the 2 saw waves, give it a low pass, a little bit of an LFO on that. Set the amp like that. Some chorus on that. And I'll give it this auto pan to make it kind of a little bit sidechained here. And then we could have this just playing something maybe like and you can hear what this is adding musically now. You know, it's giving us something kind of on top of here where it's really adding to the track and kind of like building on top of that foundation that we already built. Another thing here would be, in terms of effects, would be to maybe add like a bit of vinyl noise. Like this is something that I hear a lot of techno producers do. I do this in a few of my tracks as well. Like we just grab one of these. That one's good. And then you just get that in the background a little bit. Maybe we'll boost the high end a bit. And you can hear what this is adding to the overall track. It's really just giving it a bit more atmosphere. It makes it feel like it's kind of in a place. So again, this is building on the foundation. Next step here would probably be the next level of complexity. Level 5 would probably be to add some sort of automation. So like we could do something like this, like with the lead. I could play around with this delay maybe. We could automate like the dry wet to come up. We'll just duplicate that. And you can hear what this does. You know, it gives the sound a more interesting feel to it. It makes it so it's not just like playing straight through like you would on a piano, but it gives it something more like alive. Yeah, we could also probably play around with this. Like we could automate this frequency of the bandpass a little bit. This is why I like making percussion with synths, because like you get so much control over it like this. You can just give it this cool automation. So you can hear automation really brings the track to life and gives it more, like I said, life essentially. The next step I would say here would be level 6 would be polyrhythms. Polyrhythms are important for techno because it can get kind of boring if you just have this like over and over and over driving thing like this. You know, obviously it sounds cool, but you want to mix it up a bit so it's not all just dun 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 dun. So what a polyrhythm is essentially, poly means two. It's two rhythms or more playing at once. So it's like you could have something going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one thing going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a good example of this would be if I take this pad here. You can hear this is very straight. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's just going, you know, between the bars. If we put maybe an ARP underneath this, like I'll just make something simple with the analog here. We get a square wave. So let's say we put like a little ARP underneath this where it's going up the scale. And then you can see what's going to happen here is instead of having it restart right on the 3 here, like say that would look like this, like if we just keep going up the scale, then it just restarts right on the 3. Instead of doing that, we're going to restart it here. So we're going to duplicate this like that. And now you can hear we have a polyrhythm. There it is. This is not restarting basically at the same time as the other thing. And so this is very popular in melodic techno. Those of you who listen to like Afterlife style stuff definitely know about this. But yeah, it's just a really good way to kind of like add more to your track. Cool, so from there, the next step, level 7, would probably be thinking about like the power and the fatness and the overall mix of your track. With techno, it's very important for your track to be hitting as hard as possible. Of course, this is how techno works. We want to make bombs, right? You don't have a bomb with something that sounds really thin. So the way that you do this is maybe like putting all this percussion, for example, in a group. And we'll put like some drum bass on there. You can hear that beefs it up. It makes it feel really full. And this is going to make a big difference because your tracks, when you put, like if you don't do any of this kind of stuff, when you're trying to mix them in with other tracks, the other tracks are going to sound way louder, and it's just going to sound weird all of a sudden when you come into this thing where it's like super soft and not hitting as hard. So you got to get it on this professional level. Give it a bit of reverb as well, kind of like for the space in the mix. And you can already hear, like that sticks out so much more. Another thing I'll typically do is like I'll put all my synths in a little group and give them some processing together. Cut out some low end. And you can hear like how much more just like a standard track this sounds now. Like it really comes together when you do this. With the kick I already pretty much did this at the start. This is where like this drum bus is coming into play and stuff. You can see that's hitting pretty hard. So yeah, and then the next thing I think here, level 8 would be building tension. It's very important to build tension with techno. Like you want to have it feel like it's kind of building into something. So what this would look like on a very simple way would be to do something like this, right? Like maybe we just have, during this part, we have the synth kind of filtering up, the lead synth. And we can do the same with the ARP there as well. And there you go, you can hear it's kind of like building to something. Then you get to this part. And there it is, there's the track. So this is important because obviously techno is very, very repetitive. It's literally like oftentimes a 1 or 2 bar loop just being repeated over and over and over. So this is how you keep it interesting, is with giving the track movement and kind of bringing it to life through building tension and just making a conscious effort while you're making your track to kind of like not just have it be like a flat energy level, but like have it kind of build and then go down and then build up and, you know, stuff like that. So that is level 8. The next level, level 9, would be arrangement. This would be like really thinking about the arrangement of your track and thinking about it in a way that's good for DJs as well as just for making the track sound good from a compositional standpoint. So a good example of this here would be like, I'll put on the kick. We'll give it like a little intro here. Let's cut all of these out except for maybe that synth. And then we'll just have this building start happening there. And what we can do is we'll give this like a little intro. So this thing will filter up. We'll just turn on this low pass filter here. And then the kick is filtering up here. We'll automate that to turn off here. And maybe we'll give the kick a little bit of like this part where it cuts out. Also cut these out. And so now this really feels like an arrangement, you know? The track is building up. You know, we're putting together everything that we've done so far, and then it gets to this drop. And it feels a little bit more like earned. It feels more like you've been waiting for it, you know? Another good thing for like arrangements would be effects, like maybe making something simple like this with some white noise. We just get like a long note here, put some white noise here, and then we just get a band pass. And then what this is going to do is this is going to kind of build the tension even more, because now you have this one instrument which is just dedicated to making the track get more intense and then dropping when the drop comes. There we go. So that is level 9. We've gone through quite a bit. The last level, level 10, would be to put it all together. So here's what that sounds like. Cool, so there it is. 10 different levels of complexity making techno. Hopefully this could be like a nice breakdown. Like I said, I want to just really give like a deep analysis where we go through like kind of, I guess, the hierarchy of things, like how important you want to place everything in your mind, and also just kind of how it all works, like just really going from the start and then going through to a pretty full idea. So that's me for this one, guys. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Let me know if you want to see me do more of these videos. Maybe where I'm not just using other artist names for clickbait, but I'm using my own ideas. So like I said in the beginning, you can get the project file and the samples and the MIDI and the presets and everything we just created on my Patreon. It's going to be available for all my patrons. If you've been thinking of joining now, or if you've been thinking of joining, now is a great time to do it. If 50% of my subscribers, half of my subscribers, gave me $1 a month, I would be making a lot more money than I am right now. Not that that's what matters, but just thought I'd say. So, thank you so much, everybody. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Pretty sure I already said this. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.